Hey folks, we're back. That's right, a second season of the Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show after every green and white game. Join me along with my co-host, Kyrie Zaber, the former NFLer and CFLer, and accomplished high school football coach Ryan Hall, as we break down each week's game for you. And new this year, we will welcome your telephone calls. So yeah, like a regular call-in show, call in, we'll chop it up with you. Can't wait to have another fun season. It's the Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show.
All right, welcome to the Our Balls Are Bigger postgame show. I was supposed to do this. Well, we were after the game. I usually do it from Gerhardt Studios, but of course, Game 7 of the World Series is on, and I'm like, well, people aren't going to pay attention to this till after the World Series. Most of Canada is, if they're a sports fan, watching this thing, and then it starts getting into some pretty tense moments, and then it starts going extra innings. So I'm like, well, let's push it till tomorrow morning. So that's why we're here the day after CFL semifinal. But let's start with the World Series. First things first, can the Prime Minister, Mark Carney, just stay away from Canadian sports teams? Like, if you're a CFL team right now, you don't want Mark Carney to adopt your team. Stay away from the Lions, the Riders, the Tiger Cats, the Alouettes. Stay away. Don't come around my team. I don't want, if you're in town for some sort of event, don't come around here. I don't want you around my team. He went around the Oilers. They shit the bed against the Panthers. He went around the Jays, and they soiled the sheets in the last two games. So, Carney, stay away from any Canadian sports team. Stick to politics, because you're not even good at that. That's all I'll have to say about that. Yeah, let's talk about the World Series, man. That's the best Game 7 in baseball history right there. I know I always talk about being prisoner of the moment, but that is the best Game 7 in baseball history. I mean, you had everything. You had a bench clearer where the Jays and the Dodgers come out of the dugout after a Dodger player. I think it was it the Dodgers plunking the Jays? When you watch how much baseball and so many things happen in the game, my mind gets foggy. But I know there was not a brawl, but they cleared the benches. What can you say about the Jays? Like, I'm not a big Toronto sports guy. I do respect the Argos. I think Mike Hogan, Ben Grant do a great job calling the games. I do respect their small but very animated and passionate fan base. Adam Goss, who's their public address announcer, does a great job there. MLSE I could do without. They're probably the main reason why this CFL game is getting flushed down the toilet. I wish somebody would just force them to sell, to be quite honest with you. Because if it's that much of a money-losing venture, why are they hanging on to the Argos? So I like the Argos. Not a big fan of the Raptors, I come or go. I guess I got on the Raptors train. I don't hate them. Don't like the Leafs. I liked the Leafs as a kid till everybody started liking them, and then I don't like them. The Blue Jays, I could take them or leave them. Like I was kind of, I guess I was kind of more into them when I was younger. 92, 93, when they went on those World Series runs. I was cheering for them because I hate the Dodgers. Absolutely can't stand the Dodgers. And this was a likable team. Like, you had likable guys. Ernie Clement, what a great guy. Seems like a great guy. I don't know him personally. Ernie Clement, Jimenez, Alejandro Kirk. I mean, the biggest Canadian sports star right now, probably, like, on our own soil with the, you can make a case for Davies, the soccer player. But Connor McDavid and Vladdy Guerrero Jr. And had Vladdy won that World Series, he would have been number one with a bullet. He's still a great player. I mean, if the Jays win that game, he's the World Series MVP. So they were a likable team. Bichette, hurt, hits a 3-run bomb. Bo Bichette, stud. I didn't like him too much when he had the mullet. Kind of thought he was a little douchey, but I like him. I like him now. I've turned into a Bo Bichette fan. George Springer, when he first got to Toronto, was an absolute Band-Aid. He barely can stand, though. He's got that kind of massager heater around his midriff there during the game, trying to do everything he can to extend the game and win the game, getting some key hits for the Blue Jays with a bad oblique area. And if you've ever played sports and had an oblique injury, that is not easy. So tip of the cap to George Springer, who I thought was a Band-Aid when he first joined the Jays and one of their best players this year, and definitely not a Band-Aid. How about Miguel Rojas? 9th inning homer off of Jeff Hoffman, who is already apologizing, saying he cost everybody a World Series ring. Hey, it's baseball, and really, I know he had some ups and downs during the year, but they don't get this far without Jeff Hoffman. So I caution anybody attacking him on social media. Rojas, great play in the infield to stop when the bases were loaded. Catches that one, fires at the home plate, gets the runner out at the plate. Controversial one, but the catcher Will Smith's foot does leave the base, but then does come back right before the Jays player gets in. How about Jays bases loaded, and Pages goes out there and makes a catch running into Kike Hernandez in left center field, but makes the catch with the bases loaded on an Ernie Clement hit. Maybe 6-7 inches or feet longer. That's a home run for Clement, and the game's over. And I'll tell you what, man, Dave Roberts, people talk about, wow, it's easy to manage a great team like that. You still got to pull all the right levers. The guy used all the starting pitchers, brings the World Series MVP Yamamoto in to come in and close out 2.5 innings of great pitching from the Japanese superstar. Pages to center, and just a great managerial job there by Dave Roberts. I had said earlier this series that when the Jays weren't going to win anything with John Schneider, people were jumping out like he redeemed himself. He did redeem himself after game 2. I wasn't too upset with anything that he did. I mean, they bunted a guy over late in the ball game, and people say you shouldn't give up that out. But I didn't really mind. That play was a great bunt, too. Got the base runner over to third. Unfortunately, broken bat ends the game. But all's good as far as not all's good as far as the manager. Like, they could have a better manager. Like, Don Mattingly might be a better manager than John Schneider. But I didn't think he cost them the game yesterday. Now, I'm not a baseball expert. My buddy Sean Kleisinger, who won't be talking to anybody for probably a week, he might have a different story there. Yamamoto, already touched on him, World Series MVP. Guy pitched 3 times in a 7-game series. Absolute stud. He is the MVP. Will Smith, that 11th inning homer. And how about Clayton Kershaw? It's so great to see. Not great because I hate the Dodgers, but I like players. He's one of the greatest of all time, and this is his last game, and he didn't get the pitch in it, but his wife and kids run onto the field, and they celebrate, and rightfully so. He's an all-timer, definitely one of the best in my lifetime pitching and playing baseball. Sorry, I'm yawning a bit here, folks. I was a designated driver for my significant other and her friends. They went to an 80s night dance party at the Revival Room. So I'm a little tired today. Didn't get home till about 2:00. I don't have a lot of friends. She does, I don't. And people who follow me online are like, oh, yeah, I know I don't have friends because you're combative. I'm not combative all the time. I stick it up for the CFL game, and I'm going to do that and talk about that coming up next. Yes, we are going to talk CFL semifinal Saturday. The Blue Jays game was an instant classic. Best one of all time for Game 7s. Tell me otherwise. And the 2 playoff games, the CFL instant classics. Somebody remind me, why the hell are we changing the rules?
The Italian Star Deli, providing Regina and area with quality specialty products since 1966. When you visit the Italian Star Deli, you're truly part of the family. So drop by any time and they'll help you find whatever your heart and palate may desire. Whether you're looking for olive oil, specialty meats and cheeses, pasta, sea salt, vinegar, canned tomatoes, or one of their mouth-watering famous sandwiches, you're sure to find it and so much more at the Italian Star Deli, 1631 Victoria Avenue, Regina.
All right, back here, and I want to say hi to Scotty T, first guy in the chat box. Hey, you can chat with me. We're not doing a phone call session today. We will after the Riders BC Lions West final game next week, and of course the Grey Cup, whoever that might be. It won't be the team over my shoulder, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. My son's team lost to Montreal yesterday. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. We'll address the BC Calgary game too. Scotty T, IKF, inches away, brutal. Was he the guy at the plate? Like I said, Scotty, I lost track. You think Bichette resigns? Yeah, I do. I think he resigns for sure. They got a great core there. I don't think the Jays will be going away. Remember when Kansas City won a World Series and then lost the World Series? Like they won one and then lost the next year. I think the Jays have a legitimate chance to do the reverse. Now, your team will never be the same like this, and just certain teams, certain years take on a gritty style, so it will be a climb to get back. It took 32 years. That's what makes that loss all the more frustrating and hurtful. Hey, I'm an Oilers fan. We've lost twice in a row in the Stanley Cup, and it sucks. It absolutely sucks to get to the seventh game and lose. I hate it. That right there, if you're a Jays fan, is on par with the 13th man game. Not quite as bad, because the 13th man game, the Riders won and then lost in a matter of seconds, which is another example of why when I say there's nothing wrong with the game, it's everything around the game. It's that right there. Like, why was that? Like, that thing happened and then it just went away. It just went away. It's like it never happened. That was one of the most unbelievable endings in any professional league's history. If that happened in the National Football League, they would still be talking about it. There'd be a sports documentary every way from Sunday on that. There was nothing in the CFL, not one thing, because for whatever reason, and I don't have deep pockets. I'm barely getting by with this. I've got some really good sponsors, which you're seeing here, thanks to Italian Star Deli. I'm just treading water right now, okay? I'm treading water. That's just being honest. And maybe that's a sign of exactly what the CFL's going through. We've lost the generation. We've lost a lot of things because people don't market. The league does not market itself. It's never done a great job of that. Now, the individual teams are getting into it. Their social media teams, the Riders have a great one. The Bombers have an outstanding one. BC does a great job, just to name a couple, okay? So the teams themselves are, but the league itself is not. Like, let's talk about this here, okay? Actually, great job by Amar Doman. Best, and there are a few good owners in this league, but he's the best individual owner in the CFL. The guy goes above and beyond to try to get fans there. I think there was 27 yesterday. I thought there would be more, but 27 is a healthy CFL. It's a decent CFL crowd. Now, is it decent compared to what he's put into it? Probably not. Probably not. But he's trying. There was a lot of furor over the tramp stamps in the CFL. Mobil, the petroleum company, or is that I think that's a petroleum company. That's not like a phone company. Anyway, Mobil has the tramp stamp on all the jerseys, and people are all upset. Looks goofy, looks terrible, looks like what are we, the Savannah Bananas? Like, listen, I don't like the look aesthetically, like down the bottom here, under the numbers. You've seen it online. I don't like the look aesthetically, but it's actually, listen, they're trying to make, I would rather see them try to get money like that than absolutely blow up our league chasing American dollars, because that's all this is. That's all this is. And I said before, I'm not against the idea of expansion if it's going to keep our league alive, but not if it's going to keep the league alive and then totally just change the league. Like, so the commissioner comes out, and once again, not going to, I don't want to belabor this, but I do. People were attacking me online yesterday. There was no reason to change the game. The game is not the problem. We don't market like that documentary I just said. We have a World Vision commercial they've been running all season with guys like Enoch Mwamba, Brady Oliveira, Sean Payne Jr. of the Riders. All these guys go to Kenya, carry water on their head like the ladies, dance with the kids and stuff. It's a 60-second commercial. Where the hell is the documentary? Put that on Netflix. Put that somewhere on a CFL website that actually works and is updated. Put that somewhere on a YouTube page where we can watch the thing and we can go underneath the helmet and see what some of these superstars are like. Brady Oliveira had a camera follow him around the whole season in Winnipeg, and I've heard that the CFL hesitant or actually against letting them use footage, letting CBC and this American company they're partnering with using footage, game footage. What? If that's the case, that's ridiculous. Anyway, it's not the game. Stats that don't work. The betting has been a joke because the stats don't work. Streaming doesn't work. Websites aren't updated. And in 2025, what league doesn't have an app? They don't have an app. A professional football league, a professional sports league in 2025 doesn't have an app. And EA Sports is in Vancouver. EA Sports in Vancouver. And we don't have a way for the CFL to get some sort of add-on to Madden or to the college football game where we don't need our good friend who I absolutely admire and think he does a great job, puts in a lot of sweat equity, Nelson Hakowicz, who did a great job doing that in the video game. But we don't have somebody with the league that can go to EA Sports and say, hey, how do we get some sort of add-on here to get the next generation getting excited to play CFL football? Dustin Nielsen, one of the play-by-play guys for TSN, he always posts pictures on his website about or on his social media avenues, whether it be Twitter or whatever, about his son playing the Canadian version of the video game, the college video game that Nelson went to a great extent to edit. Like, come on, what are we doing here? That's what I'm talking about. It has nothing to do with the game. The commissioner needs to walk back these dumb rules that he's thinking about doing. Or if it is U.S. expansion, he needs to come right out here in Grey Cup Week and tell us that's exactly what this is about. Because all he's done, everybody's like, everybody's talking about the league. Yeah, they're not talking about the league positively. You got guys like me that are 3-down defenders and want to ask questions, but he doesn't come on, and nobody asks him any tough questions because the Naylors and the Lalgis of the world are just puppets for the CFL office. They just say whatever the CFL office tells them to say. It's always been that way. So come out and tell us why. Tell us why this is happening, because the stats don't bear it out. 53.6 points a game, up the most in 2 decades. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember this. Outscoring the NFL by 9 points a game, or almost 9 points a game on average, and we always compare ourselves to the NFL, so I'm just following along. 5.41 touchdowns a game, most in 2 decades. Highest red zone touchdown efficiency in league history. So those big bad goalposts they're not that big of a deal. Yes, the Bombers hit a goalpost yesterday. My kids' team hit a goalpost. Bomber Ballsy's team hit a goalpost. And everybody at Crestview cries like, Ballsy, what did you think of that? I think that's part of the game. That's absolutely part of the game. And what did the Bombers sulk? No. They went and they still scored a touchdown. How many? That's like, a plane crashed. We should never fly again. Let's make the runway longer. A plane crashed. And I'm not trying to downgrade plane crashes. How many plane planes land in a great manner. Way more than crash. How many times does somebody hit a goalpost with a pass? Not that many times. And even way less that a player hits a goalpost. So you're going to mess the game up by doing that. So no, I don't have a problem with the goalpost. I don't have a problem with the Rouge on the missed field goal against my team by Maltos Diaz. The Rouge is Canadiana. It goes back to our roots. It's different than the NFL, different than the 4-down game. We want to get scoring in the game, not take it away. So that is a reward for field position. So he missed the field goal in windy and clement weather. He misses the field goal. It goes out the back of the end zone. If you want to argue that if that happens, we don't allow a Rouge because we're not going to reward failure, then I would, being an open-minded guy, I would say, sure, I'm all for that. Like I could buy, not all for that, but I could buy that. Anything else, no, and certainly not moving the goalposts. Did you watch that game? You wouldn't, very rarely would you see a game like you saw in Montreal and Winnipeg. And I'll get to that last, actually. But Montreal, Winnipeg, 42-33. Calgary, BC, let's start there. On the other side, let's start there. 33-30, BC beats Calgary. Wow. What a game. 2 instant classics in the CFL. Changing the game? Huh? Why are we changing the game? Oh, we're changing it for U.S. expansion like you said all along, Ballsy. Then tell us that's what we're doing. And give us a plan. And let us know that you're in such bad shape that you got to put logos on the bottom of the jersey. That you got to sell 4 tickets for the price of 3 in Saskatchewan for a West final. Tell us that we're in trouble. Tell us. Just be honest with us.
Ward Tirecraft Regina, proud to be the last of the small town style tire and automotive shops in the city, prioritizing the happiness of their customers and the safety of their vehicles. They've had some of the same customers for over 40 years, including yours truly, which is why I asked them to come on board as a sponsor for my shows. For all your tire and mechanical needs, go see Michael Barth and his crew at 101 Dudney Avenue. Tell them Ballsy sent you, and you get 10% off.
Okay, welcome back. Hey, I got some more chats. I appreciate you guys being up early before NFL Sunday and locking in here with me. The Bomb has a couple of comments. He says, Brady O is a star who saves dogs all the time. He should be celebrated and marketed as the biggest star in the CFL. Well, one of the big stars, there's no doubt about it. I think the biggest star is probably the Canadian quarterback, Nathan Rourke, but there's so many great guys. AJ Ouellette, the wrestler, maybe not now in his slim down older days, but AJ Ouellette, professional wrestled. We got a lot of great guys in this league, like a lot of great guys in this league that we could market. I mean, they didn't do much with Bo Levi Mitchell. You know, another pathetic thing? Here's another pathetic thing. I saw everybody get behind the Blue Jays. Get behind. Oh, first of all, let's comment here. And I think that is what's going to be happening, the Bomb. This documentary on Brady is going to highlight him saving dogs and everything, so that will be coming out. Scotty T said NFL starts an hour later for us now. I know, that's why I didn't mind coming on here. The Bomb says Amar Dolman had a good interview on Friday. Says the new rules can always be changed. Nothing is in stone. Yeah, sure they can be changed. That's great, and I agree. I hope cooler heads prevail. I hope smart guys like him are watching this going, this isn't exciting. What are we doing here? Like, it's like, that would be like Caramel giving away their secret, or the secret sauce from KFC. We got the Colonel's recipe, but you know what? Popeyes is down the street. Let's just do what they're doing. Let's just do what Popeyes is doing instead of promoting ourselves. It doesn't make any sense. I've used this analogy before. You're a drunk and you don't come home. You are a drunk and you do not come home. And instead of going to counseling and being dedicated to your family and coming home, what you do is you say to your wife, you know what, no, there's no problems. That's not really the problem. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'll either remodel the house or buy you a new house. We'll remodel the house or buy a new house in a totally different neighborhood. That's the way to go. Yeah, but honey, you still drink and don't come home. Yeah, but that's not the problem. No. That's not the problem. The problem is the office. Or the bedroom. We need to change it into an office. I'll make you a reading room. Yeah, but you're a drunk who passes out in the doorway of that room. No. That's not. Just step over me. That's not the problem. Think about everything else you got. That's what we're looking at here. And then you get, just like politics, then you get the office to get the guys like Naylor and Farhan to start promoting and talking about it. And it's the greatest thing. And all that type of stuff. Now there was a few guys at TSN. I have respect for their football knowledge. But, I can't believe that you'll turn your back on the league, and you'll say, "Well, look at nobody's going to the games." Nobody. They had a public transit strike in Montreal been going on. There's nobody going to the, like, some of the people didn't go to the game. They had the same thing happen in Philadelphia, but the NFL's so big because they've marketed and built. You know what happened? FanDuel, they paid for that night for all the transportation of people to get to the game. You think I'm not saying it would go that way in the CFL, but do you think if they got the betting going and everything going with good stats and we were going and had better fantasy and everything like that, then maybe that happens. And you know what? I've said it before, so I'm not going to I always stand by what I say. I've said before in my podcast, Ballsy Uncut, that they, in the CFL, they do need more teams, and there's no appetite for it in Canada. So save me the bullshit that we're doing this to fit stadiums in Canada. That's not happening. Maybe the Wanderers, I doubt it. If they were so close in Atlantic Canada, I was at the two games the Riders, I was the voice of the Riders when they had the two games out there, and then they stopped going. If they were that close to getting it, why would they stop doing it? No. It's not happening in Canada. So I guess you got to go to the States. So if that means that's why we're doing this, then just rip the Band-Aid off and tell us. And tell us we're coming after, we're going to, we need to diminish the ratio. We need to do this. I won't like it. But tell us. And I'll be in favor of expansion if this stops right now. If this stops right now and they keep the waggle and they keep the 3 downs and they keep the 65 yards and they don't come after the Canadians and leave the rest of the game the way that it is. Except for the posts at the front. And the posts at the front, if you want to shorten the end zone to get the field in, I guess we got to do that. But the posts at the front and the rouge stays intact and all that type of stuff. You want to tinker with the rouge? I won't like it, but I can be a negotiator. I can be open-minded. I can say, okay, if the ball's unplayable, it goes at the back of the end zone, fine. But the problem isn't the game, once again. This is what I was going to say. So everybody gets on this Blue Jays train, as they should. Canada versus the States. Us against California. Us against Trump. Fuck you, Trump. We're in Canada. We're the best, and all this stuff. And there's everybody gets behind the Jays, just like a lot of people that weren't Oiler fans get behind the Oilers, or if the Canucks go to the final, or maybe not the Leafs or Habs. That's kind of really polarizing, but generally any other Canadian team that goes, the whole country gets behind that team and cheers for that team because we want to see the drought end, okay? But the CFL is the ultimate Canadian league. I hear so much about elbows up and this and that, and politically, Carney's done nothing. He's done nothing to stand up to Trump. Doug Ford, what's he doing? He's pouring Crown Royal out, and I guess he's trying, but is he really trying? Are they really doing anything? They're not really doing anything. So it's elbows up, right? Elbows up. Well, are you supporting the CFL? Are you going to games? Are you promoting your league? Like, you're not promoting your league. That should have been they had it handed to them on a silver platter. Here, like, this is the hot topic for the next however many months or years. This got Mark Carney reelected, and nobody at the CFL can pick up on that and say, or Mark Carney elected, Liberals re-elected. Nobody could pick up on that and say, you know what, we should actually use this for marketing. Canada, show. You know when you watch the NFL games on TSN and they show the guys like Holland, the safety in Miami, or Dean Leonard, the corner with the Chargers, and they do a little thing in commercial break about this guy played for the UFC Dinos, now plays for the Chargers. Why don't they do that for, Brady Oliveira, UND, and during CFL games? Why don't they do that? Or why don't we're in this whole cross promotion with the NFL? Why during the games doesn't TSN run a Canadian Football League ad like that, where you're promoting this and you're promoting that, promoting this Canadian star? They don't do any of that. They've never done any of that. We've never really got, radically. They should be going back to radically Canadian. I went to Our Balls Are Bigger. Like, well, the balls aren't bigger. What are you doing? I used that slogan to kind of highlight that we are different. And the balls are the same in the CFL, by the way, but not U Sports versus NCAA. Our balls are bigger in U Sports. So that's my point. It's like, it's not the game. The game is so exciting. And let's get to that, okay? Let's get to the Calgary Stampeders game. Like I said, great job by Amar Dolman trying to get the crowd in there. The game itself, Calgary Stampeders were the better team. Just like I think the Blue Jays were the better team in the World Series versus the Dodgers. The Dodgers found a way to get it done. The BC Lions did the same thing. The Calgary Stampeders' offense was better, and their defense was better. The only difference was special teams, where the Lions got a return touchdown and a kickoff return set up a field goal. So they got 10 points off their return game. And, Calgary was much better than BC. But sometimes the better team that day doesn't win, and Calgary doesn't win. And they don't win because of clock management. I was shocked that a Dave Dickinson coach team at the end of the first half with a veteran quarterback botches that. Those 3 points came in huge. They botched it at the end of the game, and that cost them. That cost them in the end. Rene Paredes, who I would say I love Rene Paredes. He's an all-timer. I think they put him as one of the all-time great kickers. Louis was, but Rene's since last 20 years, it's Rene Paredes. I would venture to say that's probably Rene Paredes last year. He didn't have a great year. If he comes back, he comes back. But I don't know. Hit the goalpost when they could have taken a 28-27 lead after a touchdown. But what are you doing at the end of the half? And then what are you doing at the end of the game? Run the ball. Run the clock down. Give them very little time. Dave, is this your first time in the CFL? Vernon, is this your first game quarterbacking? You're the extension of the coach on the field. You're not some rookie, Vernon. And I love VA Jr. But run the clock down. You gave BC 33 seconds. Then they get a nice field, a pass down the middle, field goal by White. It's all over. Clock management cost the Calgary Stampeders. This from the bomb. VAL played Rourke for the most part. Stamps defense is impressive. Yeah, it is, but it's on the shelf now. How about Robert Carter Jr.? I think Trey Vavel was a good choice from the Bombers as Rookie of the Year, but you could have made a strong case for Robert Carter Jr. He had that unbelievable catch against Hamilton where he backhand interception where he reaches out and then does the barrel roll in the air, keeps it from hitting the ground. That was as athletic a play as you'll ever see in any football league. Returns a kickoff for a touchdown, and the dude is a great defensive back. So the BC Lions have found a gem there. What an outstanding player. How about we promote him a little more? Yeah, he got some love on the broadcast, as he should, from Suter and Rod Smith. But Robert Carter Jr., one of the stars we should be promoting. And Nathan Rourke, of course. That guy's going to be the MOP and the most outstanding Canadian, and he should be. For his on-field performance and for sticking up for the league and not backing down from the commissioner. Called the rules garbage and he wasn't as forceful with his words, but didn't back down from that. I like that stance by Nathan Rourke. He is a great ambassador of the game. And I'll tell you what, he keeps the play alive with his feet. He is very fast. I didn't realize how fast he is. Maybe he's gotten faster this year with his off-season training. But yeah, the BC Lions with a 33-30 victory over the Calgary Stampeders. They will come in to face the Rough Riders. I'll tee up those games at the end of the show. Once again, you can get a hold of me at Ballsy Uncut on X, on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube so you never miss an episode of the Our Balls Are Bigger post-game show, which you're taking in right now, or the Ballsy Uncut 3 times a week podcast. By the way, I did get a comment here on X that I want to get to. Just hold on here. This one is from Mobile is the gas station at the Superstore locations. That's what I thought. Anyway, so there you go. The Mobile gas station at the bottom of the jerseys. I'm not against it. If you need to make money, you need to make money. Like, we can't, and I'll take my own advice. We can't bitch about everything. I don't have a huge issue with it if they're paying good money. And obviously they paid enough money to allow them to put the logo on the jersey. So I'm not going to complain about that. And I did think it was the gas station. So thanks a lot. I appreciate it. The Rider fan 13 / Luke Wilson fan. Okay. We will take a break, come back, talk about the East semifinal and tee up the matchups. Talk Hardy Cup too, as we got the Saskatchewan battle to hopefully end up in Regina for the Vanier Cup this year. First time it's ever been hosted in Regina.
Payson Insurance specializes in helping hard-to-insure people get coverage. They also offer a range of financial management and investment services to help secure your future. People care most about their money and their family. I personally trust Kevin. Best way to describe dealing with him are the 3 C's. He's comfortable to deal with, he cares about your future, and he's confident in helping you make the right financial decisions. Payson Insurance. Give them a call, 306-596-0244.
All right, welcome back here. So we got another comment here. I want to get to this. Did you watch the Thunder game last week? What a thriller. I was driving back from the Winnipeg-Montreal game, end of the regular season, so I did pay attention to it in my car. It was a thriller. Thunder blew it, though. 2nd and 2, late in the game, got to be able to run out the clock, and I don't pick on kids. And I really like Sean Green, but Sean will even tell you, got to make a 37-yard field goal to win the game. It'll be a long off season for the Regina Thunder. Good luck to Tom Sargent and the Saskatoon Hilltops. Full marks for coming back, but they escaped with that win. I think it was more the Thunder losing than the Hilltops winning, not trying to diminish what the Hilltops did, although it sounds like it. But kudos to them. Saskatchewan represented strong again for the Canadian Bowl. All right. Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Montreal Alouettes. I worked at Crestview Chrysler, where I encourage you to come by and get in on some great deals. If you want to get into a new-to-you vehicle, either pre-owned or new, please give me a call, 306-526-7979. Let's do some business together. I'd love to have you do that. All right. Bombers, they're down 25-3 early, and I'm going to give them credit. They are a gritty, tight-knit room. That and I obviously have somebody in that room. He said, Dad, I'm a rookie in this league, but we have a tight-knit locker room. Guys care about each other. You're never going to have a perfect room, but he goes, everybody's got something in their life, but for the most part, no real idiots. Just a straight up, I think one guy, Jonathan Jones, something happened with him. Well, I know what happened with him, and they just said, hey, that's it, we're done. And there's a couple other things, but you'll get that in any CFL team. That was a locked-in group. Contrary to what one beat writer who went all on me on X, in Winnipeg that I should stop embarrassing myself and embarrassing my kid because I was sticking up for the Blue Bombers. I don't know how that embarrasses my kid, but he was saying how they're not confident in they're not even confident in themselves. Well, I'll ask that beat reporter of 10 years in Winnipeg, did they look confident even though it wasn't a spectacular game? They made mistakes, which was their MO this year. Did they look confident when they rallied from 25-3 down and silenced a cocky Davis Alexander after the first half? And had Montreal fans and the Montreal sidelines white-knuckling it? I think they're pretty confident in their abilities. And I don't think everybody's saying this is the end of an era. Well, it's the end of an era for the Bombers in the sense that they're not going to be in the Grey Cup. They haven't been there, but they've been there 5 years in a row. Okay? I think Rider fans would like to have a chance to be there 5 years in a row. And maybe they're on the way to doing that. Riders, for instance, and I know this team well because I was a fan and a broadcaster of this team. Still have friends on the team, as I say from time to time. They have been the Riders, not this version of the Riders, but the Riders have been to 5 Grey Cups in the last 28 years. Okay? This would be the 28th year. Haven't been there since 2013. Pretty good bet to get there this year, I think. But let's not... I'll just call it out because I said it online. Arash Madani has been all over Mike O'Shea saying his time's up, he needs to go. I asked Arash, where's he going to go? Where's he going to go, Arash? Where does he go? Where does he go? Ottawa? Ottawa going to take him? Is he going to go work for another GM when he already has a good relationship with Kyle Walters and he's a god in Winnipeg? Like the guy is, fans are always going to bitch about your performance. But he's been to the last 5 Grey Cups. The team has had 9 straight double-digit wins in the regular season? 9 straight. Even in a 9-team league, that's impressive. Yes, were they great this year? No. They were up and down. They were inconsistent. And in the end, you are what you are. The Bombers turned the ball over way too much this season. Brady Oliveira would love to have that fumble back that was punched out. If he doesn't fumble that, I would suspect the Bombers win that game. They gave Montreal a short field there. Kolanos coming back for another year, it looks like. He had a solid game, over 300 passing yards. He had 1 interception, 1 touchdown pass. Could have had a couple more picked off. I get it. But he looked pretty solid as a 37-year-old quarterback. And I'm expecting him to be back next year. Oh, hold on 1 second. We got an issue with Lumina. So give me 1 second here, folks. I got to get us back here. Hold on. There it is. Okay. Oh, hold on. And now my camera's acting up. Oh, yeah. Talking about the Bombers and things don't go according to plan. Go figure. It's kind of how the season was. Okay. So, yeah. I think Klaus comes back for 1 year. The Bombers did draft Taylor Elgersma. It'd be nice to get him in the fold. I have no idea what's up with him. In fact, that's a big mystery. He sat out all this year trying to, I guess, get an NFL opportunity, and who could blame him because he's trying to go down that Nathan Rourke path. But as Nathan Rourke says, he found out the NFL's a different animal in so many ways in terms of the politics and everything like that. So Rourke's enjoying himself here. I hope Taylor Elgersma will join the Blue Bombers as a Bomber dad. But I just want to see another great Canadian arm in the league. So the Bombers looks like they'll be okay at that position. They're okay at running back. Brady Oliveira still got juice in the tank. I would have loved to see them use him more. But in fairness to Hogan, the OC, who has really had his feet held to the fire and everybody was critical of him, that the guy who is the most loved is the backup quarterback. And the guy who is most hated is the offensive coordinator with any team I've ever been around. That's the guy that people hate. Oh, he can't draw plays. Oh, the OC sucks. I've seen it a million times. So if the Riders lose, they'll be all over Mark Mueller. Watch here in Saskatchewan. But anyway, yeah. So the Blue Bombers on offense, also no Nick Dembski. That hurts. As Zach Claro said, he was our best player this year, period. So that did hurt. But yeah, Arash Madani thinks that Mike O'Shea's time is up, that his time is up. Really? He's been to 5 Grey Cups in a row. Kyle Walters has been instrumental. They have the most, whether they won or lost, they have the most consistent organization in the CFL in the last 10 years. And they do need to, there are some tough decisions that need to be made personnel-wise. They do have some tough decisions. Do they hang on to players? Do they move on from some players? There were a couple of free agent signings that probably weren't the great, not probably, they weren't the greatest. They didn't pan out. For one reason or another, Dylan Mitchell didn't pan out. Peyton Logan didn't pan out. They didn't use their money for Lawler, but got other guys. John Jones didn't pan out. There were some moves that didn't pan out, and there were some that did. Pokey Wilson came back. Jarrett Stearns was a great signing. I think, we probably have seen the last of Jake Thomas on the D-line for the Bombers, but Tanner Schmeckel, the Regina boy, ready to step in. He hurt his leg at the Labor Day game here and didn't play the rest of the year, but his game was picking up after he started the year on the practice roster and got on the field and didn't want to come off once they added him to the lineup. What was shocking, though, is the Bombers' defense giving up over 500 yards. So that is shocking. Missed tackles, didn't get the pressure that they needed really all season. So back to the drawing board for them. I think it's more a retool than a rebuild. Now, Montreal is a very talented team with a talented quarterback. And he's got swag, no doubt about it. And some guys got to play that way. They got to play with that swag, with that edge. And I do kind of want my quarterback to have that confidence and cockiness. Zach has a bit of that. But I also would like my quarterback to show a little respect for his position, for the game, for his opponents. There's one thing to be cocky. There's another thing to run by the bench and act like Baker Mayfield when he was first coming out of college and flashing the money sign and pointing at guys and all that stuff. Yeah, I know Willie Jefferson got into it with him, and he's allowed to come back at Willie before the game. Guy sitting with the TSN reporters in the one-on-ones that they use during the game in his wife white beater. I want my quarterback to look like a professional, like he's the CEO of a company. You're the leader of men. Don't dress like you're Vanilla Ice or Eminem. Dress like you're the guy. And act with a little respect on the field, okay? Act with a little bit of class. It's okay to be pumped up and running around. You're a great player, undefeated as a quarterback. Got a great chance to win a Grey Cup, and I get it. And it's an alpha dog type of situation. But come on. Use a little bit of class. And you got a long way to go, son. You got a long way to go. You got Bo Levi Mitchell you're going against. I don't know if you've seen his resume, but he's forgotten way more about football than what you've done. So another chance to prove yourself. I'm looking forward to that game. I'm not against guys showing their enthusiasm, but do it with a little class and respect and know your role, know who you are. Okay? All right. Once again, we want to talk about the game, and we got to change the game. Now, I've said this before, and I'll stick with this. Being a referee is a thankless job. And the CFL, you get what you put your money into. So if you don't invest that much in the team or in something, it's not going to, you got to spend money to make money. So if you're not going to invest in your officials, then you're going to get what you're going to get. And I think dollars to dollars, the CFL is comparable or even better than the NFL officials. I do. I believe that because the NFL on Sundays makes a lot of mistakes too. Just there's way more games, and so you don't see every game like we do in the CFL because it's a smaller league. There's some pros about being a smaller league and some negatives about being a smaller league. That would be one of them. We need some full-time officials. We need some more replay cameras. If you're going to do replay, go all in. If you're not, then don't. That goes for the league and goes for TSN. You're either going to be a broadcaster and go all out or you're not. You're either going to be a league that's going to want to get younger fans by getting video games, by getting an app, or you're not. Like, make up your mind here. So, we're watching this game. I don't care if the Bombers are playing the Alouettes are playing the Stamps, the Riders are playing the Lions next week. The play in the Montreal-Winnipeg game, when the game was still very much in doubt, Montreal's driving down, and who knows, they may have scored. But they were second down and about 6 yards to go inside the red zone. I don't know the exact yard line. They handed off to Stevie Smith, which, by the way, great find by Machocha and his scouting staff. We got some nice emerging stars. Another emerging star, big running back. How about we start promoting this guy? He gets stopped by James Vaughters, who, by the way, another great signing by the Bombers. He gets stopped by James Vaughters and actually pushed back. And there's no whistle. And then all of a sudden, the center, Lawrence, and a bunch of other guys push him into the end zone for the touchdown. The touchdown would make it 39-30, and the Bombers could never recover. Now, maybe Montreal goes for it on third and gets a first down because they didn't have the first down in that run. What are we doing here? That's horseshit. That should have been whistle dead. And in amateur football, I'd have to read the rule book. In amateur football, you're not allowed to push the guy. We're not allowed to have tush pushes in amateur football in Canada. Another thing we do better. You're not allowed to tush push a guy from behind. It's called a tandem buck. It's a penalty. I don't know if they have that in the CFL, but maybe the CFL, which doesn't like to do this, they might want to look at the lifeblood of their league for all these years, amateur football, and check with some of the rules that would work up in Canada, like no tandem buck. So you don't have a stupid play like that, and you remove all doubt with these officials that sometimes are clueless. That was terrible. That was awful. That's Bush League, my friends. That's Bush League. Not the goalpost, not the ratio, not the rouge. That is garbage. Garbage. I'll tell you, let's be positive. There was a penalty, I forget what game. I think it was the Montreal game. It was contacting, I think the Bombers. Was it the Bombers? They were 2nd and 15. And the Alouettes got called for illegal contact. In the NFL, if it was 2nd and 15 or 2nd and 35 or 2nd and 2 cities, if there's illegal contact, it's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down. That's the worst rule in professional football, right there. That rule right there. In the CFL, there was that penalty yesterday in the game, and it was a 10-yard penalty, and Winnipeg still had to get the first down. They didn't get an automatic first down. I love that about the CFL. But go to the amateurs. No tandem buck. No pushing the guy in the end zone. That's ridiculous. This isn't rugby. Yeah, we have rugby roots, but we've evolved from rugby. You don't push guys in the end zone, number one. Number two, So you don't push guys in the end zone. All this talk about the rouge, I don't like the rouge. Okay, so if I'm going to give up, if I'm going to overhear Mr. 3-down defender, if I'm going to say, okay, the rouge is no good. Like you can't have a rouge if the ball is unplayable, meaning if it flies out of the end zone and you can't play it, no rouge. And if we do that in the last 3 minutes, that's where I'd say last 3 minutes if you're going to change the rules. So we don't have these whiners say it's Bush League and imagine a game ending like that and stuff. Games actually, a key game has actually never ended like that. I know people will reference the Riders Argos game. It never ended like that. If you look at the replay, it actually was a field goal that went over the post, called wrong on the field by the officials under the post. And they never had to go upstairs to replay because the game ended regardless. So if you want to do that, fine. But on the other side, why are we moving the posts? You could just turn to Canadian football, amateur football, and say, oh, wow. So if the returner gets the ball in the end zone on a punt or a missed field goal or a kickoff and he runs it out of the end zone, if he doesn't get out to the 20-yard line, stopped at anywhere from the 1 to the 19-yard line, the ball automatically comes out to the 20. There you go. Less rouges, encourages the return game, and we don't have to move goalposts or pay for any of this stuff. By the way, who's paying for this stuff? Who's paying for it? Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I can be a conspiracy theorist all I want when the questions aren't answered. Who's paying for it? Is it the NFL? I mean, the Bills and the Argos are pretty tight now. Argos are getting their ads run on the Jumbotron in Buffalo. Apparently, the Seahawks have been doing this for a while. I was told by the Moj, one of the best play-by-play guys around, the BC Lions, and Matt Baker, the outstanding communications coordinator for them. I'd put him and Darren Cameron of the Bombers in a tie for the best communications coordinator in the league. We got some great ones, but those two guys are outstanding. Anyway, Matt said this has been happening for a while, Seahawks helping out the Lions. But I don't know. To me, I'm just saying to me, it doesn't pass the smell test when the commissioner's so vague about why we're changing the field when the data doesn't line up to what he's saying, when the excitement doesn't line up to what he's saying. Who's paying for these changes? Is the NFL? Are we going to a AAA league? Would you support a AAA CFL? Ballsy, quit being a conspiracy theorist. Well, then tell me the real answers. There's no real, because the data and eyeball tests don't line up to what's going on and why we're making these changes. So I'm fair ball asking whatever I want to ask. Anyway, so that's what I would say about that. Fix some of these damn rules like the tush push. The benches I like. You know why I like them? For a guy like Davis Alexander. He's running up and down the sidelines, yapping to the Bombers. It's a lot harder when it's across the field. Bo Levi Mitchell does that too. He's got some swag. I don't want to have the guys on the same side. That should never have been. The CFL out west, besides BC, had it right. A lot of it has to do with soccer and multi-purpose stadium, but I like benches on either side. Should always have been like that. Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, they got it right all along. So I like that. The 35-second play clock, how are we running this play clock? I'm not so sure that it's going to be great unless we get to add another timeout. Or let them at least use they don't lose a timeout within 3 minutes. Like if they have two before the 3-minute warning, they lose one if they don't use it, which is an absolutely stupid rule. I don't know who thought that was a good rule. And that would have been chosen, I would think, by the rules committee before. So I don't know why they decided that was a good idea. But look at the last minute and a half of the BC game. Huh? Or the Montreal game was a 25-3 blow and it came right down to the end, basically. Why would you want to mess with the final 3 minutes of the CFL? We've got the best 3 minutes. Well, we're the best version of football on the planet. We just don't know how to promote it. Number one. Number two, we got the best 3 minutes, the final 3 minutes in sports right here in the Canadian Football League. Why would you want to mess with that? So I'm all for that. Hey, I love the horns too. The horns in Montreal were supposed to be banned. I'm glad they weren't banned. They're annoying, but that's good. That's called home field advantage. That's what it's all about. Why would we take the fun out of the game? Why would we make it a boring atmosphere to go to? That's kind of what's lacking at Mosaic Stadium. It's not the same as Taylor Field. It's newer, that's right. It's not as intimate, and I guess that's what you get. You lose a little bit, but they kind of got away from having a lot of fun there. Make it fun. That's what you want. That's what you want. You want people to pay money to go. Make it an experience, and hopefully this tailgating will do that.
Athletes aren't built during the season, they're built here in the off season, where real progress happens. At the Den Sports Performance and Agility Center, they don't just train, they develop. For athletes ages 13 to 17, they offer team packages and individual group training with up to 5 weekly sessions of your choice of dryland or strength-focused work. Every program blends strength, agility, balance, mobility, speed, and recovery with a focus on durability that most programs overlook. Because showing up on game day means staying strong all season. Every session is coached by a certified speed and strength specialist and focused on long-term athletic success, not quick fixes. Flexible programming, real results. The Den Sports Performance and Agility Center is where serious athletes level up. Book your spot now at thedenyqr.ca. And that's a mistake on my part. Does that sound better? I got this from Dandy Oilerman. Good show, Mike. Always been a fan of yours, but you need a better microphone. Doesn't sound clean on my end. It doesn't because I have a couple of audio services, and whenever I use or video services, and whenever I use this one, I have the settings already set up so this microphone is on, and the damn thing it switches automatically to this camera. And so my audio is coming through my camera instead of the mic. I hope that sounds better. I really apologize, folks. Damn it. Here I'm cutting the CFL down and I can't even get it right. I appreciate the fact that you reached out, Danny Oilerman. Yeah. Robert Campbell says, I anticipate a major player turnover for the Bombers next season. The team needs to find their next quarterback one. Well, I think it'll be Taylor Elgersma eventually. Zach Calaro still has gas in the tank. They just need... The O-line wasn't as stout as it has been in the past, What that looks like going forward, I don't know. They've got a nice stable alignment. Ethan Vibert, the Regina kid, is coming up through the chain. So we'll see. Robert says, CFL is gaslighting us with the new rules. If you can't promote the best brand of football, then just go fully NFL North. Well, they can try that, go fully NFL North. It won't last unless the NFL is prepared to, or some rich Americans prepared to fund it, because it won't last up here. I'm with Chris Cuthbert. You will not sell any more tickets doing this. You won't sell one more new ticket doing this. I've had some nice chats behind the scenes with one of the great Canadian football guys ever, one of the GOAT voices ever. But I think CFL football play-by-play, think him and Don Whitman. God rest his soul. Anyways, the microphone sound better. Somebody reach out to me. I really apologize for that. Show's almost done too. So yeah, that ticks me off now that didn't work. I mean, you can make it out, but it didn't sound as clean. I apologize. So yeah, it's crazy what's going on in the league, because that was such an those were 2 instant classics yesterday. That was a sports day. You had 2 instant CFL classics. You had the World Series. We had a classic in U Sports. In the Can West, the Rams win in double overtime over Manitoba, 32-29. Gorniak proving solid as the kicker, the rookie kicker, Ty Gorniak of the Regina Rams. So the Rams will travel to Saskatoon to take on the Huskies, who beat UBC. Not a great year for Blake Nill's team. They snuck in by coming back to beat the Rams at the end of the regular season in overtime, and then go down to defeat in Saskatoon. So the Huskies, home field advantage against the Rams. Can't wait to tee that one up this week on Ballsy Uncut. That's going to be a slobber knocker. There's another thing. Why are our games, why do we get so worried about the NFL? I'm honest to God. If you, we move the game up. We move it to Saturday, semifinal Saturday. We take away from U Sports. We take away from junior football because we don't care about our amateur partners. It's unbelievable. They don't care about their amateur partners. Football in Canada, as Jim Mullen told me, are in silos. They don't work together. People don't work together, and it drives me absolutely crazy. And people call me a complainer, but nobody else talks about this shit. I'm the only guy, maybe Jim Mullen, the only people that talk about this stuff. All these other guys, all the other media, they just lay down their vanilla. They don't care. They're not passionate. You only get better when people call you out. In relationships, my girlfriend is she's my biggest fan and my hardest critic. She'll tell me, hey, you got to do a better job checking your microphone. Hey, you got to watch what you're saying online. Hey, why are you doing that? She'll always do that, to the point where I get a little bit annoyed. It's like, well, don't you support me? Yes, I do support you, but I also got to point out your flaws. So I've adopted that with the CFL. I love the CFL. 3-down defender. I love Canadian football, and I'm not going to back down from talking about Canadian football. So why have your games on Saturday? Why move it up the Grey Cup to November 7th in Saskatchewan on the 2027? Because like Robert said, they're gaslighting us. It's going American. Now, to what extent, we'll find out, but that's what it is. And they're not telling you because they need you guys to show up to the stadiums. And it looks like that's not working. Probably turning off hardcore fans in the process. That's why I don't believe they'll sell one more ticket. They might sell to some new fans, but they're going to lose. You really think they're going to lose hardcore fans? You really think that young people are going to flock to the CFL because the posts are at the back and it's 15-yard end zones and a 100-yard field? You really think that? Honestly? Really? That field goal, what was it? Was that like a 38-yard field goal from Sean White? That 38-yard field goal from Sean White, or 36-yard field goal, whatever it was, that was a 58-yarder to win the game. We really want to have kickers coming out for a 58-yarder at the end of the game? So we want points or we don't want points? No, it's not the game. This is all about getting an American TV deal or working with the NFL to be a farm league. It's got to be one or the other. I don't know what it is. You don't know what it is, but I can talk about it, and I can talk about it all I want, and you can call me a conspiracy theorist. I'm allowed to be a conspiracy theorist. By the way, once again, can somebody reach out to me and let me know if my microphone is better? I'd like you to chat with me. Let me know it's better. I apologize. I'm almost done the show, though. So, yeah. So the Rams and the Huskies, can't wait for that game. It's going to be an outstanding football game coming up here on Saturday. Oh, there's also CFL football on Saturday. Yeah, take away for who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. They don't care because they don't care about Canada. And now there's talking, well, if we move the season up, what about the draft? What about the CFL draft? Because they always had the break because they had to wait for the NFL draft, and that would be right up against the NFL draft. Then what are CFL teams going to do for the draft? Well, what if they don't care about the CFL draft anymore? Oh, Ballsy, you're being a conspiracy theorist again. Answer the question. What about? Maybe they don't care about the CFL draft. I could tell you for free, the CBA goes till December 2029, but it can be open when a new TV deal is opened. There is no TV deal after next season. Why is there no TV deal after next season? They're going to make all these changes in 27, and we don't even have a TV deal to show off these new rules and new changes. Why? So we don't have a TV deal, okay? We're changing all these rules. We don't care about the draft. We move the games. We don't care about burying youth sports. But why would we care? Because we don't promote youth sports anyway. We don't cover the draft. We don't cover the combine. I heard so much about this commissioner and how great he was going to be, and he's a visionary, and he's a great communicator, messenger. He's a great messenger. He's totally botched this. Like, this is Randy Ambrosie 2.0. At least Randy Ambrosie had the balls to take my call and come on. At least he would answer tough questions. He might have not have said anything, but at least he'd sit in there and take the tough questions. This guy's totally botched this release. And as Amar Dolman said, if the rules can change, if we can change these rules at any time, why were we in such a rush to reveal these rules? Because the commissioner was excited to do it. That's what he said. He was excited, so he wanted to release them with a third of the season to go. Why? After 2 exciting games, you got a lot of people, and I'm one of them, talking about why are we changing the rules? That talk wouldn't have even happened. We would just talk about how great the games are. But they can't do that, because then you talk about how great the games are and how great the playoffs have been and how great this season has been and scoring's up. And then he comes out and says, oh, well, we're changing the rules now. And everybody'd be like, what? Kind of like we're doing now, just be in the off season. But I guess it wouldn't matter because he wouldn't answer questions there either. I hope there's somebody that will go ask the tough questions at Grey Cup. I'll put in for media accreditation, or I will put in for it, but I won't get it. And it's not because I'm an asshole. I'm not an asshole. I have my opinions. I'm going to stand up for my league, but I'm respectful of anybody that comes on this show. Why do all the teams come on this show? Why? Why would they? Why wouldn't they? Why would they come on if I was an asshole? So, no, I don't. I just care about the league. Just the problem is I'll be honest with you. I'm a little too much sometimes because nobody has the passion I have for this league. They don't. Nobody in the media in Canada has the passion for the CFL like I do. Nobody. I'll stand by that. There might be some people equal to me. I'm not saying I'm the best, but nobody has more passion than me. Let's put it that way. And I voice it in the way I do, and I'm not going to change. That's not changing. Okay. That ain't changing. We're going to, I got some stats from Keith Willoughby. We're going to tee it up here coming up the week that's ahead of us.
Waldo's Warriors, appropriately named after Paul Waldo, the local football legend, played for the Thunder, played for the Huskies, 3-time Grey Cup champ, and still coaching the Stars of Tomorrow today with the U of S Huskies. Well, now he's taken his talents to the real estate game with the home expert team on Vic Avenue East. If you want to get in the real estate game with the 3-time Grey Cup champ, give Paul and his team a call, 306-502-5355.
Once again, I want to apologize for my microphone earlier in the show. It's still audible. You'll still be able to listen to it. It just sounds a little echoey. This last bit
better. Okay, let's get to thanks to Ryan Hall for watching, my my co-host regularly. Hopefully he joins me next week for the post-game show, but maybe he can't because he is usually a color commentator for the football broadcast. Did a great job. He was outstanding on the broadcast yesterday for the Rams and the Bisons. All right. Let's that's funny too. I've submitted my name to help out with CanWest broadcasts. I don't know if I should say it, but I don't know. Something's up. It's crazy how it's kind of like it's like a blackball. It's like I've been blackballed somehow, and I'm not worried about it. Like I don't really care. I'm happy doing this show. Happy selling cars. I'd love to keep this show going, and I'm going to try my best to keep it going. I'm going to need some more sponsors to help that going, as if this continues to to build this over the years. But I do this as a labor of love, and I stand by it. So I'm okay with that because I don't want anybody telling me that I'm doing something wrong or you can't be passionate or you have to take your foot off the gas. I'm respectful, but I call it like I see it. And it's funny. I think I broadcast a pretty good football game. Murad El-Khatib, billionaire, who is the Thunder president, gets me to do their games. Junior football, love it. But I've asked to help out, and Access gets me to do Pat's games, and apparently good. But I'm not good enough for U Sports football. Funny, interesting. It's interesting. But anyway, Ryan Hall does a great job, and I love what Ryan Hall brings to the table. He would be he's one of the best football analysts actually in the country. CFL, U Sports, like he could be on a TSN CFL broadcast and do an outstanding job. In fact, if he was an analyst on TSN, he'd be right there as their best analyst. And that's no disrespect to the guys doing it. That's how good he is. If you get a chance to listen to Ryan Hall broadcast the game as a color commentator, do so. All right. This from Robert. Major rule changes will bring in 0 new fans and will alienate true CFL fans. Oh, it might bring in some new fans. It might, Robert, but it's not going to bring in enough to compensate for the ones you're losing. If you have 5 people come to your restaurant for your hamburger and you change the burger and make it a veggie burger because you want the vegans to come, but the hardcore redneck truckers like your burger and they say, forget it, I'm out of here. Then you've got 2 vegans, but lost 10 burger lovers. Are you any further ahead? No, to me, you're down 8 burgers and you'll be out of business soon because rich people don't like losing money. They're not just going to throw money at things. Okay. And maybe that's why the CFL owners are looking, they're tired of spending their own money. Maybe they are. They don't like losing money. But once again, be honest with us. What's going on? And got to look at it. You got to sit in a boardroom and go, okay, how is this affecting our partners? How is this affecting our fans? What are we seeing with our eyeballs? Well, I see excitement. I see all the stats telling us. Did you see those last 2 games? Speaking of that, let's get to the Final 4 in the CFL. This from the Dean, Keith Willoughby, the Edwards School of Business, the Dean on my show. He gives me the CFL simulations before it goes to the website. BC is the computer's favorite to win the Grey Cup. 37% probability of winning the Grey Cup. Saskatchewan at 30%. Hamilton about 19%. Montreal roughly 13%. Now here's a bit of an anomaly, says Keith. Saskatchewan is slightly favored to beat BC, 51%, but BC has the best probability of winning the Cup. Now this shows that his computer definitely likes the Lions, assuming they can win the West Final on the road. The computer has the Lions as the team's top team for any game played on a neutral field. But and Hamilton's favored to beat Montreal, 63% probability. Now let's go back to that for a second. The computer has the Lions as the top team for any game played on a neutral field. It will not be played on a neutral field. It is going to be played at Mosaic Stadium, where I sat there as a fan of the Labor Day Classic, and I have to say that was the loudest it's ever been. Now, there was 5,000 Bomber fans there to make it a sellout. That's undeniable, but it was as loud as it's ever been. So, Rider fans, that team needs you in full throat. They need you to snap up these tickets, whether you're getting one free or not, whether they're giving a lot to sponsors, which they are to give out. Who cares at this point? Just get to the field and cheer on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. This doesn't happen very often. They haven't been to a Grey Cup since the last time they won it in 2013. That's a miserable drought. In order for this, I said this right at the start of the season, in order for this team to consider this a successful year, nothing short of a Grey Cup appearance will suffice. And you can bet damn sure the CFL and the Winnipeg host committee is hoping for a Riders win in the West Final so that fans will show up, because it could be like 2022 when the Bombers played the Argos and Rider fans didn't show up. The stadium was half empty for the championship game. And I get it. They're upset. It's your bitter rivals. Riders had a shitty season. We're nowhere close to it. Bombers at least were in there. They gave their team a decently exciting season, good or bad. So I hope Bomber fans show up, or at the very least for the CFL, my hope is that they're hoping that the Riders win the game and beat the BC Lions. It's supposed to be inclement weather here. Most people would say that favors the Riders, and you probably would be right. I don't think weather will be a factor. I think Nathan Rourke can play in the cold. Nathan Rourke loves Mosaic Stadium. We'll talk about this all week. He loves Mosaic Stadium. So Nathan Rourke coming in here against the Riders, a chance for Buck Pierce to go back to Winnipeg where he just left and win a Grey Cup there. That's a juicy subplot. A chance for Corey Mason, the running for Coach of the Year, to take his team to the Grey Cup in Winnipeg, where the Riders until this year have had a tough time winning. That is a juicy subplot. Right now, looking at it, after I watched the Stampeders against BC, I think the Rough Riders are going to win this game solely based on their front seven. I have to say that. Am I rooting for the Riders? I have lots of friends on the team, but no, I wouldn't say I'm rooting for the Riders. If they win, kudos to them. It's been a solid year. Transfer Trevor Harris to be a legend and a Hall of Famer, being a Grey Cup champion as the starting quarterback. But I don't know. I would think colder, inclement weather with a guy who doesn't have an overly strong arm in Trevor Harris, the weather would affect him more than Nathan Rourke. It's going to be the Riders front seven. If they can dominate like Calgary's did against BC, and the Riders don't make tactical errors, which they won't with Mark Mueller and Corey Mace running the ship, then the Riders will win the game. I think the Riders will win by about 6. That's my early prognosis without seeing injuries. But man, I would love to see Nathan Rourke go to BC or go to Winnipeg. That's another storyline. He's never won in Winnipeg, never beaten the Blue Bombers, and never won in Winnipeg as a quarterback. He's going to bring his best. Can the Riders match it? That's going to be a juicy one. And then out east, you got Montreal versus Hamilton. Couple of cocky quarterbacks. One that deserves to be cocky in Bo Levi Mitchell. One that doesn't deserve to be as cocky as he is, even though he's an ultra-talented quarterback and has an unbelievable undefeated record right now. I think Montreal has a slightly better team. If I had to pick, I'm probably thinking Montreal wins the game. I think Davis Alexander's first loss comes in the Grey Cup. I think that's what happens. Who do I want to win? Probably Bo Levi Mitchell and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I'd like to see the Graybeard get another run, some redemption from him. Last year, he was going to be benched, comes off the bench, could have been the MOP last year, is in the running this year, and rightfully so. I want Hamilton to win, but I see Montreal winning, at least right now. That's how I see it. I see a Montreal-Saskatchewan Grey Cup in Winnipeg. That's kind of what I see. I kind of want to see BC Hamilton because I love Nathan Rourke, and I like the Hamilton Tiger Cats to end their drought. They've got the longest Grey Cup drought going back to 1999. What say you? Weigh in all week at Ballsy Uncut. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. We're going to cover everything here, including U Sports. We got your hockey covered too because the calendar's turning. And hey, Blue Jays, great season. That was an unbelievable season. Thanks for the memories because it was fun. Even I got caught up in it as a Padres fan. I hate the fact the Dodgers won. I hate the Dodgers.
Thanks for catching the show. A reminder, the best form of promotion is word of mouth. So please tell everybody you know about this show. As we grow this show, we in turn help to grow the game we love, the 3-down game. Catch you next time.